Hello, everyone. Welcome to Giving Tuesday. We're so glad that you're with us, that you've joined us for this exciting day. We appreciate your support so much here at HEAV. HEAV has been here to serve homeschoolers for over 40 years, and we know that most of you haven't been here 40 years, but some of us almost have been here that long. And so I'm glad to say that HEAV was there to help me. When I began my homeschooling journey, they were the ones that I called, and I'm so thankful for the information that they gave me. My name is Yvonne Bunn. I'm Director of Homeschool Support and Government Affairs for Home Educators Association of Virginia. And I'm glad that you're joining us today and that we can have this conversation. And something exciting is coming up at 12:30. We're going to have a double match. And so get ready for that. Start thinking about what you can do to support the efforts of Home Educators Association of Virginia. We are a statewide homeschool organization that is here to serve you. We've been here for 40 years, serving all homeschoolers. Anyone who contacts us and asks us questions, we are happy to help you. We are happy to connect you with one of our counselors that can answer specific questions that you may have. And so we're here to serve you in the best way that we can. And we appreciate your support so much. We thank you for the support that you have given us through the years. And this special day is so important for the success of the work that we do in supporting you and your efforts to homeschool, encouraging you, providing resources for you, having information, new information on our website weekly so that you can know exactly what's going on, have answers to your questions, look around with different links to find the things that are specific to your homeschool situation. So we're just so thankful that you're joining us today, and we appreciate your support so much. We could not do this without you. So thank you for being here with us today. As Director of Homeschool Support and Government Affairs, I may have met many of you at the HEAV convention that we have in June. I have been doing the How to Begin Homeschool seminars on Thursday, the free seminars for new parents who have questions about homeschooling or are trying to make the right decision about what's the best thing to do for their family, whether to delay their children's entry into education, or if their children have special needs, or if they're beginning at the high school level, what to do, where to go, where to get those resources, what are things you need to be concerned about, what are the real things that you need to know in order to begin homeschooling. And so I've probably met a lot of you on that Thursday afternoon series on what you really need to know to homeschooling. And of course, like I've told parents for many, many years, you don't have to know everything to begin homeschooling. You need to start right where you are. And so it's an exciting time to work with your children, to be there for them, to build that relationship that homeschooling allows you to build with your children. So those educational years are critical years for a family, just critical not only for the students, but also for the parents, for the entire family, to build a good, positive relationship with your children. So I'm thankful that you're here, and get ready to double your giving at 12:30 today. I'd like to let you know some of the things HEAV has been doing during this past year. As Government Affairs Director, we have an entire team of people, almost 12, well, over 12 people now on our legislative team, watching out for your rights as parents to teach your children, to protect your rights under the law, and also to initiate new laws that will help you even be more successful homeschooling, to overcome some of the barriers that we are seeing. We have a legislative team that's made up of some very active, experienced homeschool parents and dads, moms, lobbyists, bill researchers, policy analysts. We have a whole group of people that work with me to protect your rights to homeschool. Ann Hoopsick is our lobbyist. This will be her 9th year at the General Assembly. She and her husband, Dave, work together. They actually go to the General Assembly. They sit in on committee meetings. They speak to legislators. They testify at committee hearings before the legislature regarding homeschool issues, regarding things that come up that you may be faced with as you're homeschooling or you're registering to homeschool. We also have Caroline Barnes will be also a person that works behind the scenes with us. And Caroline is our bill researcher, and she reads all the bills. That means over 3,000 bills on a long session, during a long session, and 2,500 to even more than 3,000 some years. And so that means looking at everything that comes through, all of the bills, seeing what the topics are, looking at the issues that come up, then forwarding those to the legislative team to look at more closely. Issues that may not be direct homeschool issues can still affect how you homeschool. Very often legislators don't realize that when they put in a bill, it may negatively affect homeschoolers. Sometimes they're not even thinking about us. And so that's our job, to be aware of that, to make phone calls, to go visit them at their office in Richmond, to let them know that this is going to impact homeschoolers in a particular way. And would they amend the bill? Would they change the language? Would they take it out? Would they put in language that we would suggest that they put in? And often they will do this. And so that's one of the ways the legislative team works together to protect your rights to homeschool. Patricia Bear is another person that's on our legislative team, and Patricia is the legislative assistant, and she also directs the school board monitoring team. And whether you realize it or not, the school board, your local school board, is critical in how you homeschool, because it's the school board in your district that oversees the implementation of the homeschool law that legislators make. And so the school board and their understanding of the homeschool law is absolutely critical, because they could develop policy that is inconsistent with the law. And we've seen that numerous times. And so that's something that we are constantly watching for. The school board monitoring team is made up of 12 to 14 homeschool parents that have volunteered to read the agenda for school board meetings that are coming up, to see if there's anything related to homeschooling on that agenda. They also will read the minutes of the meetings that have already been voted on or handled, and the issues. And sometimes they actually go to school board meetings in their district to listen, to watch, or they will view it online, because most of school board meetings are now online, so that you can actually sit at the comfort of your own computer and you can listen to the discussions that they have. And so we do that when we realize that homeschool issues are coming up, so that we can have firsthand, immediate knowledge of what's going on. So that school board monitoring team really allows us to feel the pulse of what's going on in local districts. And so it's been absolutely critical for the work that we've been doing, because we can intervene immediately with emails, with phone calls, and directly communicate with the district superintendent or the homeschool liaison that you may be working with, to let them know what's going on, to let them know that they're exceeding the requirements of the law, and that they need to line their policy up with the law. And so that has really been a project that takes a lot of our time every day, every week. We are contacting superintendents, sending them emails, requesting communication with them, or requesting that they change their policies in order to line it up with what the law requires. We also have Sherry Payne, who is on the legislative team, and Sherry, whose family has military experience. Sherry is our military support team leader, and she works with homeschoolers who are in the military, because homeschooling is a great choice for military families who tend to move every 2 or 3 years. It offers consistency in education. When they homeschool, their children are not in and out of a different school. And so we're seeing more and more families homeschool who are in the military. And Sherry is our expert in that area because of her family's experience in the military themselves. She also works with implementing things like JROTC for homeschool families who are now qualified to participate in public school JROTC programs. And we're finding out that most public high schools don't realize that homeschoolers are allowed to participate in their JROTC programs. And so Sherry is the one that will contact them by email first, and then perhaps a phone call to let them know that this is now a federal law, that homeschoolers can participate. And she works with those who are in charge of the JROTC program for the different types of military personnel, as well as the public school counselors and those who work at the public school and with homeschoolers, to let them know that this is not an option for them to deny homeschoolers, but this is an opportunity for homeschoolers to have this same teaching and training if they desire it for their children. And so that's been a real challenge in the last couple of years, just making sure that they understand what the law says, because there's such a turnaround in public school personnel. A lot of times we'll speak with someone and then they'll be in that position for another year and then they're gone someplace else. So it's a constant working and training with school personnel. And so we're able to do this because we're able to have good, qualified people that can take a stand and can say, this is what the law says. And I know that's often parents advocate for themselves. And we appreciate those of you that know the law and that are able to do that. But sometimes district personnel simply do not respect parents. And so very often when you get a negative response and call HEAV, then we'll contact them also and back up what your request is, and send them an email or make a phone call and have a discussion with them, present the law to them so that they'll know what the law actually says. And they expect homeschool parents to obey the law, and we expect district personnel to know the law and comply with the law also. So that's part of what we do every single day. We're working on your behalf. So please support HEAV. It's so important for us to raise the funds that we need to bring on additional personnel to work with this. There is so much to be done. There are so many opportunities out there to move forward with homeschooling and to educate not only legislators, but school board members and school board personnel also. On our legislative team, we have numerous advisors from the HEAV board, from the HEAV advisory board. We have an attorney that's on the legislative team also that works with us very closely with many of the issues that we find ourselves dealing with, many of the issues having to do with the law. So please support us with your donations. This is the time to give because it counts doubly right now. It's after 12:30. So whatever you get, if you give $20, it's $40. If you give $100, it's $200. If you give $1,000, it's $2,000. And so this is a really critical time for you to consider supporting those that are standing with you to support your homeschool freedoms and to allow you to have greater opportunities to invest in the lives of your students, of your own children. Do you know that we have had over 178 different issues that we have dealt with. Now, 178 issues that we've dealt with school boards particularly, that doesn't mean we've only written 178 emails or made 178 phone calls. For every one of those 178 issues we've dealt with, we have made numerous phone calls, numerous emails we have communicated back and forth with school districts on. So there are many, many different ways we have to communicate, and we have to say it over and over and over again. One school district, we actually counted up 19 email correspondence over one issue with one particular school district. So it's it's very interesting. Sometimes they ignore our emails, so we have to do multiple emails to get their attention. Sometimes they disagree with what we have asked them to do. Sometimes we have to ask them to send it to their school board attorney to review the law for them, because many times they're asking for things that the law does not require. So these are the ways we stand with you. These are the ways we work with you to successfully be able to work with your local school district. A lot of times parents will report things to us. Sometimes our legislative team will find things in policy that's incorrect as we're searching different school boards and looking at their homeschool policy to make sure that it complies with the law. And sometimes our school board monitoring team will find things as they're just looking at an agenda, or they've just watched a school board meeting, and they'll notify us. And once they do that, then we send that email. We let them know that this is something that exceeds the requirement of the law. And I've wondered, have you ever used an online notice of intent form that asks for information that the law doesn't require? Very often we find when different school districts will develop their own notice of intent form that they include things like date of birth. Well, the law doesn't say we have to require that it requires that we provide the date of birth. It actually says the child's age as on or on September 30th of the school year. So you can put down your child is 7 years old on September 30th of the school year, and you're not required to do the date of birth. Have you ever had your school board ask you the ethnicity of your child, or their social security number, or any of these things, these e-forms, gender, race? None of these things that we are finding on the electronic or online notice of intent forms are required for you to provide that information on their notice of intent form. So all of these things exceed the requirements of the law. And so many times you'll contact us, let us know that, do I have to put this on the form? And no, you don't have to put it on the form. You could put NA for not applicable on the form, or you could give us a call, let us know that it's there if we haven't already found it, and we will contact the school district and let them know that they cannot add to the homeschool law. And that's one of the things that they don't realize very often. So it's very important that you let us know these things so that we could take a stand with you. And you might say, well, that would be easy just to fill in that form. It's all right. You know, why couldn't I do that? Why can't I put the date of birth on there? Why can't I put what grade my child is supposed to be in? Well, these things are not required by the law. And once we begin providing this additional information, it sets a precedent for them to ask for more and more things from us. And we don't want our children included in the longitudinal database that's been developed for all the school children in the state of Virginia. So we want to make sure we're not included in that. In fact, so much so that HEAV introduced legislation about 5 years ago that will prevent the Department of Education and local school boards from supplying this information to this database. Because once your child is given a social security number, and then the information about them is tracked in this longitudinal database, which is connected to a national database that can track your child from birth all the way to the workforce after college. And so we don't care to have that information, the government have that information. And so we want to make sure that you're protected. But a lot of schools, local school boards don't know that. And so we have to make sure that they are well aware of those issues. And so why do we have these problems? Why are we constantly dealing with this day in and day out? It's because in most cases, those who implement the homeschool laws, homeschool liaisons, and many superintendents simply are unfamiliar with the Virginia homeschool statute. They don't understand the homeschool laws. And many, many times they're confused about religious exemption, about the notice of intent, about the certified tutor statute. So we are constantly reminding them of the differences in these laws and that they are implemented differently. And, to try to eliminate the confusion that many of them experience with the laws. And so it's just simply a matter of letting them know what the law actually says and reminding them that only the legislature can add to the homeschool law. Local superintendents and school divisions cannot add to the homeschool law. And so your donation today, your donation to HEAV helps us to contact superintendents, to contact school boards, to resolve these problems that are often very complicated, that are often very difficult to even talk to the right person. And so everything that you do to help us through your financial support helps us be able to protect your rights to homeschool, to protect your rights as parents. So I encourage you to stand with us, to donate what you can today. Donate it now because it will double. Even if you think, well, my $10 won't make much difference. If 100 of you donated $10 and it was doubled, then that would make a tremendous impact on us expanding our legislative team, expanding the work we do, and protecting your parental rights and your right to homeschool. So I ask you today, please join me in supporting HEAV, supporting the efforts that we make on your behalf. We are here for you. We're here to support you. We're here to give you the resources that you need to begin teaching at kindergarten level all the way through high school. So this is a time that you can help us and strengthen the work that we do at HEAV. So thank you for supporting us. Thank you for taking a stand with us. We cannot do this without you. Thank you so much for joining us in this Giving Tuesday. God bless you.